If Mounjaro or Wegovy is making you feel sick, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. I'm Zeinab, I'm the pharmacist from PillSorted, and I'll talk about nausea, which is one of the most common side effects of the GLP treatment, and what's the science behind it and how we can treat it. There are lots of different things that can trigger our stomach going crazy and doing turns, right? But like many other fascinating functions in our body, there's a control system for it in our brain, so it's called the vomiting center. Around it there is a trigger zone. Lots of different things can trigger the nausea happening. So it might be that you see something or you smell something or feel something, that these can cause that sense of feeling sick and nausea coming up. One of the important ones is actually the one that comes from our digestive system saying, I'm too full, I don't want any more. Okay, that is one of the things that if we don't heed to or if we ignore, it can trigger the sense of nausea. How do the GLPs make this side effect? So there's two important things. One is the GLPs slow down the digestion, okay? So you do actually feel fuller for much longer. But that feeling full is exactly one of those triggers that can cause you to feel sick as well. The other thing is it does directly affect that trigger area. So it does work in that brain pathway that directly affects appetite, feeling full, all of that. So GLPs sort of work as a translator between the brain and the gut, but that is the exact thing that they do. They can make you feel sick because of the effect that they have on the brain pathways. The good thing about it though is the nausea that comes up with the GLP is usually manageable and it does fade away. So it's worse the first 24 to 48 hours after the injection. It does get worse when there's an increase in the dose as well, but it does come in waves. So if I compare it with constipation, which is the one that's permanent because it's the way that the medication functions, nausea and vomiting comes in waves. How do we treat it? There's a lot of lifestyle things that can affect it. One key important thing is not eating is not the way to stop nausea happening, because the more that you don't eat, as soon as you eat something, the trigger will cause it to become worse. And when we are on the GLP treatment, we can't rely that much on the appetite signal because we've already suppressed it. So having a scheduled routine, sticking to our regular meals is a really important way to avoid the nausea happening. Lifestyle wise, make sure that you have that small frequent meals, anything that you can keep down, okay? That first 24 48 hour window that you might feel worse, avoid heavy food that can linger in the digestion for longer. Even if you want to go for that protein, you do need to spread it out completely throughout the day. So don't go for a very protein rich heavy food that can trigger the nausea. Usually dry crackers, it can be wholemeal that has got enough fiber in it. These are good options. The other one's hydration. So it's very important, especially those first 24 48 hours or the change of those. Keeping hydrated is super important. So electrolytes will usually help you keep the water down more. Cold and small sips throughout the whole day, that's the best way to keep the water down. Now, if you're taking other medications that can cause you to become dehydrated, like the water tablets, like some of the blood pressure medications, it's even more important to make sure that you drink liquids on a schedule instead of just waiting to feel thirsty. There are some things that naturally help the stomach to settle, like ginger, like mint tea. These are great. You can brew them, you can have them in the water. It's really good to help settle down the nausea feeling. And if there's anything underlying that is causing this, so if there's constipation, if there's bloating, if there's burping, these can cause the nausea trigger as well. So let's fix those, and that usually can have a better effect in the nausea. You can adjust the timing of the dose of the medication. So if you feel that the nausea comes because of the change of dose, you can try moving the injection either from the morning to night or from night to morning, depending works better for you. That sometimes can have a better improvement effect. So for anti-sickness medication, there's a good couple of medications out there. So there are the older antihistamine types, so the ciclizine, the promethazine, these help. There are also stronger medications like the ondansetron, and there are things like domperidone, metoclopramide. Some of these need prescriptions. They do need a consultation first because we want to make sure that we've addressed all the underlying reasons. But there are really good treatments out there that can help with the nausea, especially if nausea has been going on for long. What are the medications that can stack up the nausea? So by that I mean these medications have already got nausea as a side effect, and when you add it to your GLP treatments, it can make the nausea become even more pronounced and worse. One of the important ones is actually the hormone tablets, so be it the contraceptive pills, be it the HRT tablets. Estrogen itself, that's usually can be contained in any of these, can cause nausea, as well as when the GLPs slow down the oral absorption, it will make it less effective. The advice is to move to non-oral versions, so be it the depot injections, be it the barrier added as a contraceptive, or for the HRTs, the patches and the gels. These would be more effective and cause less nausea when it's combined with GLPs. Another common group of medications that can cause nausea are the antidepressants. So sertraline, fluoxetine, citalopram, all of these can cause nausea. When you have your GLP treatments and you're taking this, you need to be more mindful that there might be more feeling sick. There are a couple of supplements that can cause more nausea as well. Okay, so zinc and magnesium, they're in a lot of the different supplements for hair and skin. One thing that I want you to be mindful of, if you're taking a couple of different supplements and each of them has got a little bit of zinc and magnesium, read the amounts in them. You don't want to go above the recommended daily allowance, okay, because magnesium can irritate your stomach, zinc as well, so they can cause nausea. The other one is iron tablet. So iron tablet sometimes becomes difficult to digest. There's lots of different salts of iron, and it really depends. Person to person can find the digestion very different. For example, if ferrous sulfate is the first line that has been prescribed or you've taken, and it's really upset your stomach, causing you feel sick, you can try different salts. I have done a video about iron deficiency and the different kinds of it, so have a look at that. But basically try the different supplements. The other ones are the cod liver oil and fish oil. These can cause the feeling of nausea as well. Apple cider vinegar and green tea extract, these are used quite a lot when you're on the GLP treatments to, relieve constipation or better metabolism or, fat burning and that sort of claims, but they can cause nausea as well. Also, caffeine drinks, especially a lot of people who go for, a heavy workouts, they have caffeine pre-workout, the caffeine drinks. They can cause stomach problems and nausea and feeling sick too. The important rule about the supplements is don't take a wad of different ones and start all of them at the same time. Start with the common ones, the multivitamin and mineral. If you need, add one by one to them so that you can understand which was the culprit behind feeling sick. Okay. Now about the GLP dose itself. This is really important. Reach out to us at PillSorted. We can support you with your regular medications, prescribed medicine, your supplements that you take, and your GLP, because we can adjust the dose, we can find the best way for you. You shouldn't be suffering from nausea all the time, so it should become manageable, okay? And we can support you that this side effect becomes manageable, okay? Think of it this way. If you do get sick, okay, these are the important things to do. One is stay on the same dose. So this is regardless of any side effect. If you have a side effect on a GLP, we want you to stay on the same dose until we get it under control. The other one is really look into your nutrient. Don't go hungry. Make sure that you get that regular meals, even if it's tiny. The other one is pause anything that's not essential, okay? So all the supplements, anything that can trigger as well, like the fatty food or spicy spicy food or caffeine and alcohol, try to stop them, and then we can reintroduce gradually the supplements. You can take a break from the GLP itself as well, so we can support you with that, how long you can take a break, how much you need to take a break, so that you can carry on continuing with your weight loss journey but not losing your quality of life. What do you need to look out for? If you've not been able to keep down any fluids for over 24 hours, if you have a very dark colored vomit, and if you have pain under your ribcage, these are urgent signs that need attention. As a recap, GLP jabs slow down the digestion and they do affect the brain nausea center. That's how they can cause nausea. There are lots of different ways that we can manage and control it. If you've got any questions, reach out to us and subscribe to our channel. We've got a lot of good advice coming up. This video is part of our Fixit First series, where I'll be reviewing all of the GLP side effects. Okay, thank you.